Welcome to Shine.fm's A Closer Look podcast, going a little deeper into the hearts and lives of the artists you hear on Shine.fm.
I'll spill my coffee.
Don't want to spill that.
Yeah.
How are you?
That's great. I'm doing wonderful. How about you?
Good. Just hanging in there, trying to make it.
It's crazy, right?
Staying at home. Yeah. I'm finishing my senior year of college at home. So everybody's back in the house. And
it's so weird.
Yeah.
That is really weird.
So what have you been doing to fill your time these days? Because you're in Atlanta, right?
Yeah, sure enough.
Okay.
So did you go back home, or are you in Chicago? Was home in Chicago area?
I'm still in the Chicagoland area, but
okay.
So campus.
But you're not at the schoolhouse anymore.
No. Right now I'm in DeMott, Indiana.
Okay, that's fantastic. No, Atlanta, Georgia. So here's what I found out. I found out one, because we're all finding out stuff about ourselves. Like
Yes.
We didn't know. We didn't know we were this way.
Right.
One, my wife is a closet prepper.
Okay.
Like when it all started going down, I was like, hey, everybody, there's a run on toilet paper. We need toilet paper. She's like, we're fine. We got it. I'm like, because you beat them or what? Like, she's like, no, we've got plenty. Like, okay, where is it? And then ramen. I'm like, I got concerned about the ramen, the chicken flavor. I was like,
yes.
Because I'm like, hey, because that lasts forever. Shelf life forever. I think it just lasts eternally. Us and ramen last forever. So it's like, what about the chicken flavored ramen? Seems like it's out everywhere. Amazon doesn't even have it. And she's like, we got it. I'm like, what? Where is it? I'm like, what about hand sanitizer? Like there's a run on hand sanitizer. We're fine. Yeah. So anyway, turns out I got to know that my wife is a closet prepper. She is always ready for this. Anything, probably.
That's amazing.
She's like Mary Poppins. She's like Mary Poppins with a bag too. Anytime we're out and about, I'm like, hey, do you have some like Visine? She's like, yeah, got it.
That's awesome.
So anyway, that's great. So I'm on the right team. I found that part out. And then also, because I travel a lot, so I'm on the road all the time. And then I come home, and it's such a weird dynamic. You're out, I'm meeting people. It's busy, very extroverted. Like, I'm always talking to people and blah, 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 people. And then I get home, and here's what I found out is that like my home life, it's what everybody calls quarantine.
So you're like, this is the usual.
Like, stay in place. I'm like, oh, so like do what we normally do. just do what we do. That's
right.
Great. We were prepared. Turns out we've been ready for this for a long time. We've just been training for a long time.
That's very good.
We call it life. We call it how we do.
Yeah.
So other than like, not doing what you do for like a living, everything's great.
Mm-hmm. Right. We'll get to that. But okay, so tell me about like the moment. So Winter Jam, the rest of the tour is canceled. You're like, what's going to happen with church on Sunday? And then church on Sunday just blows you away. Like, tell me about that.
That is crazy. The Winter Jam deal was nuts because we were having such a great time on that tour. And so we missed the last 3 weekends. So we were in Louisville, I believe it was. And I honestly, when we got on the bus, I'm like, this ain't gonna happen. And we were all, but you gotta go, you gotta show up. Yeah. And then it's like you get the word like, nah, everybody go home. And then we missed the last 3 weekends, and you didn't get to say goodbye to all these people. Normally Winter Jam's like going to summer camp. It really is. Because like for people who do music, the only time you get to be around a bunch of other bands would be like in the summertime with festivals and so forth. But it's so brief, you get to say like hi and bye, try to catch up briefly while they're coming off stage, you're going on stage. And here at Winter Jam, you got a ton of bands. Their ebb and flow of life is exactly like yours. So they understand a lot of how you go about living and following Jesus. And so there's like such a camaraderie that happens naturally. And then you didn't get to hug them bye. Imagine the last day of camp with no last day of camp.
It'd be sad.
No one played Friends Are Friends Forever, and we never hugged. That's just, it's so bad. So anyway, we missed the last 3 weekends. So it's just like over. And then I promise the first thought I had was like, oh man, how are we going to do church? like we're going back home to Atlanta, Georgia, I go to a place called Passion City Church. Louis Giglio is our pastor there. And I've known Louis and his wife, Shelly, for like ever. They're like some of our best pals on the planet. And I'm thinking, what are we going to do? Like, this is crazy.
Right.
And you can see it coming. And we didn't do online services or anything, you know. They would post his sermons later, you know, so I'm sure you can access them in the past, or I know you can, but we never done an online service. And so it's like, it's literally Thursday or Friday night, and they're like, we can't do it. Like the NBA just canceled everything. NCAA tournament gone. They're like, we can't do church Sunday. And so it's like 2 days to figure out how to pull it all off. And then so I'm sitting that first Sunday when they do it, I'm sitting in my pajamas and we're doing church. Louis up there preaching. I'm like, I feel underdressed. I feel like I should, you know, pick up my game or something. But here's what's crazy. By the second weekend, I got a text at the end of the day. We do like 3 services, I guess. And I get a text from Shelly, Louis' wife, and she goes, "You're not gonna believe this, but like over 200,000 people have been tuned in today."
Wow.
I'm like, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And I know that there's a scripture that everybody's reminding ourselves of during this time, that what was intended for evil, God turns to good. And that's what happened. Like, you're thinking, what are we going to do for church? Oh, he's going to grow it. That's crazy to think about, right? So there's not a lot of things we can hang on to and go like, oh, I see provision here, because it looks mostly like disaster. And then you're like, oh, but I see your activity, and I can believe that you're in the same way I see you active here. You must be active in me. And I think that's the hardest part during this deal, is just knowing that God is active in us. And I think we're going to be on the other side of this, hopefully closer to Jesus, and hopefully like more appreciative of each other, because we've missed one another so much. We're not made for this. We are not made for this.
All right. So we've been playing I'm Leaning on You.
Oh,
and it's such a great song, especially knowing that you based it off of Leaning on the Everlasting Arms. But tell me about like where you were writing the song and now how this song is
totally different.
Yeah, it's so totally different.
Isn't that great? That to me is one of the most miraculous things about music, is that, again, as an artist, you're out playing pretty much the same songs night after night, right? And everybody always asks, like, do you get tired of playing these? And I'm like, I don't. I hear some of my friends do, and they talk about like, like their hit single that they're stuck with for like ever, you know,
playing it again.
Yeah, it's like, you're gonna play this for the rest of your life, and they're like, oh my gosh, here we go again. But I've always feels like, because your day's different, the room's different. Like when you're playing it live, like it's a different group of people. It's been a different day. You've gone through a different phase of life. Every time you hit a song, to me, it feels like a brand new song. And so check this out on the Leaning on You deal. I don't have any say in like, I could, but I just don't exert myself and what the next single would be. And so it wasn't like a plan, like, hey, you know, right before a pandemic hits, let's roll this one out. Right. It just happened to be that our dude at Capitol Records, Kenny Rogers, is like, I feel like we should do the Leaning on You thing with the Riley deal and everything. And you guys are on tour playing it every night. And it feels like the right move. And then I can't think of a better song off of my last album that I would want to be able to sing to myself and out loud to remind us that there's something we can absolutely trust in, the provision and faithfulness of God, that there's not a single hair on our head he doesn't know, you know?
Yeah.
All of that we need to tell each other over and over, and music's a great way to do that. And yes, when I made it for the album, totally different song. I felt like it was like a great gospel kind of thing going on. I was like, this is going to be amazing. It's going to feel like, it felt like the hymn when I was a kid,
Yeah.
leaning on the everlasting arms. It felt like that. I felt like I was trying to recreate that moment for me where it got rowdy. We spanned the aisle, joined hands across in First Baptist Church, Texarkana. That's called rowdy. You get in the aisle, that's rowdy. But we would always we would end a lot of services with that song. And I was just trying to recreate that moment that I felt nostalgically inside of me, because it is a great thought to remind ourselves of. And then all of a sudden this goes down, and I realized that's the thing that we shoved out the door for the Publix. And I need it, I need it. I'm leaning on you. What are we going to do? The mayor of Los Angeles, did you see this morning?
No.
It's like, no large public gatherings, he says. I'm guessing this means like, I don't know what it means, basketball and
right.
footballs and stuff until 2021. You know what I do? I try to do large. I actually, the dude that told me that, a friend that told me that, I was like, oh, I'm fine, because not that many people come to my stuff. So here's what I came up with this. So here's what we'll do. Whatever the cap is, like no more than 10 people at a time. We'll just stay in like a city for like a week and all day, 10 at a time. Omaha, Nebraska, we're going to be there the week of.
You can have like a whole bunch of VIP events all day.
Totally. That's all. We don't all get together, but you're with me for a week. Yeah. I don't know. So, I mean, that's crazy to think about. So who knows what's out there, but I'm confident that we'll be closer to Jesus on the other side.
Yeah.
So
how then can we be praying for you in this time?
That's such a weird question. I don't, I mean, I should think about that, but I don't know. I feel more like, spend your energies not praying for me. Pray for like creativity and stuff to be happening. But you know what's going to come out of this is a lot of albums, lots of songs, and babies. I think that this is what's going to happen. We're going to have albums and babies. So I think it's more about those people that are like on the front line trying to figure this out. Like the only way Los Angeles is going to be able to get together to watch a basketball, the Lakers play, or the Clippers, whatever, it doesn't matter, whoever, is if they come up with something that remedies the situation. If there's a vaccine or something that we are confident that people are going to be okay with this, and so that feels like more important to pray for. And as well, all the folks that are like in the hospital today, like, living in an RV in their front yard and waving through the window at their kids and their wife and their husband, like that to me is like crazy. So that's kind of where my heart is so if you're going to help me think of creative ways that I can support and encourage and give God's provision to those folks that are, risking a lot to help us all stay alive. That's crazy. That'd be it.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. I want to respect your time. I know you've got a lot of, you might have other interviews going on today, but thank you so much for taking the time to answer some questions.
Yeah. I love you guys. Y'all are awesome. Y'all are my favorites. For real.
Thanks.
I mean, y'all are doing it right all the time. That's what y'all do.
Thank you.
Yeah. And that's just fantastic.
Thanks for listening to A Closer Look. For more content like this, subscribe to the Shine.fm podcast channel from Olivet Nazarene University.